Hey everyone, it's Mr. Constitution again, back with another video. Donald Trump in the news as usual. After the FBI raided his estate in Florida, President Trump had to appear in New York for a deposition. During that deposition, the former president apparently decided to take the fifth for pretty much every question. The fifth, huh? Oof, that's tough. That's not a great look, especially considering his past comments about how people who take the fifth are guilty. Ooh, coming back to bite you there, Mr. President. That's really too bad. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Fifth Amendment. I'm Mr. Constitution, after all. The Fifth Amendment is fantastic. It basically means that you have the right not to help the government convict you. That's basically the Fifth Amendment right. You have the right not to convict yourself. You have the right not to defend yourself, to not aid the government in your prosecution. So, today, we're going to get into a little bit of what's going on with Trump in this lawsuit. But first, if you're a fan of the channel, if you like this kind of content, please leave a like and a comment. Hit the the thing. Subscribe, please. Thanks. It helps a lot. So here we go. Let's get to it. Trump took the fifth more than 440 times in deposition with New York's AG's office. That's a lot of times. That's a lot of times, which he has every right to do. And you should. You should not talk to the police ever. Especially if you're under criminal investigation, never talk to the police. Because what they say, anything you say can and will be used against you, they mean that. Not a lawyer, not legal advice, but don't talk to the cops. Former President Donald Trump on Wednesday declined to answer over 440 questions during a deposition with investigators working for New York Attorney General Latitia James' office. Instead choosing to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination each time. Boom. Take that, Attorney General. I don't have to answer your questions. According to multiple reports citing sources familiar with what happened during Wednesday's session, Mr. Trump only answered one question. He provided his name and when asked after he was sworn in as a witness. The ex-president announced his intention to avail himself of the Fifth Amendment protections earlier on Wednesday at the end of a lengthy, rambling statement filled with attacks on Mrs. James, who has been overseeing a long-running probe into whether President Trump eponymous, I don't know what that word is, real estate company violated New York tax laws. So, if you've been following the Trump saga since he left office, he's been under constant attack from multiple vectors. The FBI just raided his house, looking for, I guess, documents that they say he's not supposed to have or that he's not securing well enough or whatever. Kind of a silly reason to raid someone's house. Especially after Trump apparently has been cooperating with them in their efforts. So not sure why the raid was necessary. He's under this probe in New York. He's under the January 6th probe, and multiple, at least two others that I can't remember off the top of my head. Donald Trump. Oh yeah, the thing in Atlanta. Where apparently the Atlanta AG is basically making it illegal to question the results of an election. It's a little nuts. it's interesting because in 2016, Hillary Clinton literally spent 4 years from 2016 through the next presidential race saying that Trump was illegitimate. And the chairman of the January 6th committee literally voted to not approve or not certify the vote in Ohio in 2016, the presidential vote in Ohio, because he thought they were fraudulent. He thought it wasn't real. Didn't see any Jan 6 commissions there. Didn't see anyone facing charges there. What a ridiculous show. Anyway, let's continuing on. The ex-president had announced his intent. Oh, read that part. Let's see where we are. Under the advice of my counsel and for all the above reasons, I decline to answer the questions under the rights and privileges afforded to every citizen of the United States Constitution. Hey, smart move. Don't talk to the cops. Every time Trump has cooperated, it has come back to burn him. Don't talk to cops. Yada, yada, yada. I think it's interesting that, so down here at the bottom, down here at the end of the article, Trump goes into kind of an explanation here on why he took the Fifth after his very public statements about people who take the Fifth being guilty. Basically saying that the Biden administration, that he understands now that sometimes the government's unfair, and that's why we have the Fifth Amendment. Yeah, sometimes the government's unfair. Really? Anyway, but near the bottom here, this last paragraph is where I want to say things. But because the New York Attorney General's investigation... Oh, wait, no. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Mr. Trump's refusal to answer questions could shield him from criminal liability in any cases brought as a result of Miss James' probe, though under New York law, she herself cannot bring criminal charges against him or his company. But because the New York Attorney General's investigation is playing out in civil court, legal experts say his decision to invoke the Fifth Amendment could be used against him if Miss James files any lawsuits against him or his company as a result of the investigation. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know entirely what's going on here, but I think that's because in criminal cases, your use of the Fifth cannot be used against you. You cannot, through a result of lots of case law, it's been established that you cannot presume guilt when someone invokes their right, because it's their right. You have the right not to help the government convict you, even if you're innocent. Now, some might say, well, if you're innocent, what do you have to hide? Here's the thing. There are a lot of cases, lots and lots, too many to even enumerate, of cases where innocent people have been either tricked, coerced, or in some other way unwillingly convicted, unwillingly trapped into admitting they've done something that was illegal, or their statements made to police have been twisted and used to confuse and eventually convict them because they didn't stay quiet. Because when the government says it can and will be used against you, they mean it. It will be used against you, even if you're innocent. So there's a lot of really great YouTube videos out there kind of explaining this. Just Google why you shouldn't talk to the police, and they will come up. It's fantastic. So on the criminal side of things, you cannot help the government convict you. The civil side of things is where things get weird. See, because you're not actually under criminal indictment. And so you're not technically in trouble of being convicted. Now, that said, if you say something in a civil court that is incriminating, it can be used against you in a criminal setting. They can use your in-court statements as evidence in your criminal trial. So this is where things get dicey on the civil side, because if you invoke your Fifth Amendment right, that can be used against you on the civil side. On the civil side, it can be implied that you are hiding something in the civil procedure, shielding yourself from civil liability by taking the Fifth. So they're right here, I think, in that it is not a great look for the civil side of things. But we'll see how this plays out. Donald Trump's gotten out of a lot of tight spots. There's been a lot of things that he's been accused of that he has eventually been acquitted on or vindicated on. And so don't count Trump out yet, but man, they hate this man. They despise this man. And they're doing everything they can to destroy him. And we'll see how it plays out. So, pretty nuts. Our nation is in kind of a weird place right now because we're so divided. And the truth is, we are this way because we let ourselves get this way. We have to stop just electing the same people over and over and expect different results. We've gone crazy as a nation. We are responsible for the state of our nation, and that means we can fix it. So, thanks for stopping by. Again, if you like what you saw here, please like and comment, subscribe, ring the bell to get notified when I drop new stuff. Thanks for coming by. Have a great day. Peace.